So after my last Roblox video, I figured that I'd actually turn this into a bit of a series and start making my first proper Roblox game. Now at the moment I am currently making my second Steam game called Primus, being a more gladiator themed sort of turn-based game. And as I was sort of playing around with things like Roblox and actually doing a lot more research with AI into Roblox, it seems that Roblox, in my opinion, could have a lot of potential. And actually, to be fair, I think there's a lot of games on there that are actually genuinely quite good. So this is something which I'm going to be moving on to, but this is pretty much going to be the first episode of the series. So at the moment, I'm making basically like an apocalypse survival Roblox game. This is more focused on a single player experience where you can save and load your progress. A lot of the time with Roblox games, it is more, I guess, session based where you can join, you can play, but after you leave, nothing saves, right? Maybe your level does, but the round wave and everything you did doesn't save. It's just session based. So I want to try and make this to feel more of a experience where you can save and load. You can get to round 25, you can save it, you can leave, and you can come straight back to it at another time. So that's something which I'm going to be basically implementing and moving forward. Now, the AI assistant is actually really quite interesting. I've been basically making prompts with things like Gemini and then putting it into the AI assistant. Things such as asking the AI assistant to find apocalypse and zombie related objects and to put them into the project, in which it gave me lots and lots of different things, and I basically have been putting them around the map a bit randomly just to pretty much collect the objects, which again has been really quite interesting. One of the things I did, which was really cool for a menu screen, within about 2 prompts, I was able to get a menu screen where not only do you have the buttons on the left, but actually the background is almost like a camera which sort of slowly pans left and right, for the map itself, which I think from a beginning and an entrance point going into the game, it sets a bit of a scene, it sets a bit of a standard, I guess, in terms of, what you feel like you could experience from the game. But for about 2 prompts, which I gave the AI assistant, it is pretty quite good. Now, it did have a few issues, like I think like maybe about like a week ago where it just wasn't wanting to do anything. But I think Roblox is getting pretty quick at just being able to fix that AI assistant and get it doing the thing that we actually want it to do. The only thing I will say, and for reference, I will say that the AI assistant is very sensitive in terms of what it does. I feel like when it comes to prompts, it's very easy for it to just basically break things, or at least a lot more than things such as things like when I use things like Cursor for my Steam games. An example is like when I had like 4 stat bars at the bottom left, or like sliders. One was, it was health, it was energy, it was food, and it was water. But then for some odd reason, when I took damage, or the health bar at the top right, which would appear, and I asked it to get rid of the health bar at the top right and keep the bottom left, and it got rid of the bottom left and kept the top right. So not very useful, but obviously, again, I think it's with this sort of thing where you need to be really, really careful. Now, one of the things that actually attracted me to Roblox was the engagement payouts. From what I understand, Roblox, or at least I think probably by April the 30th, will be basically having like a pro plan or something. And the idea, or like a pro subscription, where I think the idea is that if you're subscribed to it, whenever you go to make purchases, they're like within the game, they're just 30% off or something like that. Anyway, the main thing is that when people that have a pro plan play your game for a certain period of time, you get effectively payouts, right? Right. You basically earn, I think it is like Robux or something, but you actually earn payouts for people just simply playing your game. They don't have to buy anything within it, as long as they've obviously got a pro subscription to Roblox itself. But that was really interesting because you think, well, if you can make a free game which is enjoyable and people want to turn up to it on a consistent basis, even if, I don't know, something of a small percentage of that audience does have that subscription, you're getting money without having to sell anything. right? So that was really quite interesting. And obviously, yeah, the other way to obviously make it is, or make, I guess somewhat money from it is obviously the in-game purchases. Now, Roblox does have quite a significant, like, I think, like, percentage cut when it does come to that sort of stuff, which, if I'm honest, it makes sense given that there's so much, I guess, in platform traffic and obviously everything is free, pretty much for the most part. So that to me makes sort of sense. But yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at. And moving forward with it, honestly, I don't know how long the project's going to take. I don't really have a timeline, whether it's going to take 3 to 4 months or longer, or perhaps even quicker. I don't know. I think 3 to 4 months is a good idea of it. The interesting thing is, the likelihood is I'll probably end up releasing the game once I'm happy enough with it as like an early, I don't know, beta test or whatever. Um, and yeah, because it's more of a live experience, it's probably something which I'm going to probably look to update once every couple of weeks, once it's in a good enough position anyway. But yeah, I think it's quite interesting and it's quite exciting. I do enjoy being able to just basically make, I guess, more creative projects. And I think with the AI assistant being able to actually make things within the game as well, it can really let that creativity run a bit wild when I can actually think of the ideas that I want for the game. But a lot to look at. But obviously, we're just in the starting sort of phases, so I can't really tell you much about that. But yeah, moving forward, we're just going to basically be working on things um, and just trying to make the experience as enjoyable as possible and just a replayable experience in general. So we'll see how we do. But with that said, I'll catch you soon.